and welcome back to all our viewers. We are back with a fresh new tour. After the lengthy England series, let's head to the Caribbean islands. Today commences the India tour of West Indies, and today marks the beginning with the first ODI between India and West Indies. This is the pre-show, and I'm delighted once again with my very familiar and absolutely favorite panelists, Joydeep Mukherjee and Nishant Jeet Arora. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining. Joyda, we'll begin straight away with you. From Europe, we head to the Caribbean islands. How do you see this shift of momentum and mindset of Team India, provided the fact that Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, the very regulars and very reliable players, will not be a part of Team India? They will be led by Shikhar Dhawan.
Yeah, firstly, great to be back with our team, and always good to be on this panel talking to Nishant and you and Abhijit also, who's missing out. He's on the flight to Europe for the CWG. But having said that, it's this series is going to be a relatively not easier, but a little more stressful than the one in England. So let me first start with the West Indies. This West Indies one-day team has not best. Okay, they've had issues with their team. They've had issues with their this format, especially. They've lost 3-0 to Bangladesh in Guyana. They lost the series to Pakistan. They only beat Netherlands. And of the last 25 one-days, they've lost 2/3 of those. And Nicholas Pooran, the new skipper, himself coming in saying that we are very comfortable with the T20 and the Test match version. We know what brand of cricket to play over there, but we haven't still found our mojo as far as 50 overs cricket is concerned. And that is a case of worry. If you've lost out of 25 matches, 16, 17 matches, then obviously you have not hit the straps. That will be, of course, India. I think Shikhar, I'm very happy he's captain. I think Nishant will agree with me that he's one of those guys who hasn't got the credit that he deserves. Sometimes it's all about Rohit and Virat and Hardik and Pant, but he's a quiet guy. 2013, he started opening with Rohit, and him and Rohit's partnership is only second to Sachin and sort of. So, he's quietly played his part, and I'm very happy he's deserving skipper today. And he has a good team. I know some of the big guys are not there, but that's the strength of India. He has a very good team, and some young boys will take this opportunity to make this their tour and make sure that they're in the 11 next time India plays with the full team.
I do hope so, and thank you so much, Joyda, for those very lovely words from you. Nishant, we'll come to you. Team India, just had a study of it. Team India are on the verge of creating two unusual records against West Indies. Just if they, conclude this first ODI and end up also winning it, because the last time India and West Indies met in 2006 was the time when India lost a bilateral series to West Indies. But ever since then, from 2007 to 2022, it's only been Team India winning a whopping 11 consecutive bilateral series against the West Indies. And with this win tonight, if they manage, of course, they will, become the only team who will have the ratio of the highest number of wins against a particular opposition. So how do you see this tour with regard to Team India and, of course, with the struggles, unfortunately, this West Indies team is going through right now? Nishant, do we have you with us? Nishant? I believe he's facing network issues. Joyda, do we have you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
I believe Nishant is facing network issues. So if you could answer this for us. Yes, Joyda, if you could answer this for us.
I'm here. Yeah.
Hello, Joyda.
It's a great place for India to be, on the threshold of any record. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Joyda. There was just some lapse. Yeah. It was a bit patchy, but yes, now you're audible.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that India is on the threshold of another record. The last time they were on the threshold of a T20 record, they lost that game. So let's not talk about records so much. But what's important here is that they continue. So this is a great opportunity for the next lot to showcase their skills, for the next lot to grab places. Nishant is back. I'll let him answer that.
Yes, we have Nishant. Nishant, can you hear us now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
So, do you want me to repeat the question, or like
Yes,
you
please,
heard it?
because I lost
Okay.
the internet.
Okay, no problems. My question was that Team India, if they manage to, win tonight against West Indies, they will have this very unusual record of being the most successful team against one particular opposition. Like from 2007 to 2022, they have managed to win a whopping 11 bilateral series. Their only loss was way back in 2006. So, how do you personally see this series between Team India and, the struggles provided, unfortunately, which this West Indies team is facing now, as very correctly pointed out by Joyda?
I think India will start as favorites, and that is for two reasons. One is that they are coming out of a very good series against England, especially in the white ball cricket. When you beat a team like England in their own den, it gives you a different kind of confidence, and it's also a test for the bench strength of the Indian cricket team. This is the time India will look
Mhm.
for the options. India will look at what Shreyas Iyer can do because he needs some run. We all know that Shubman Gill is waiting in the wings. Rituraj Gaikwad is there. So this is more. We should look at all these players because all said and done, this is the future of Indian cricket now. Going forward from here, 3 years, 5 years down the line, we will see that the new core of the Indian team will be built, and that will be built around these players: the Rishabh Pants, the Shubman Gills, the Shreyas Iyers. All these players will take at some stage will take the baton from the Virat Kohlis and Rohit Sharma. So this is a this is I think this is a very important series for all these youngsters, and to prove, because and it's not like you are playing against Australia, you're playing against England, you're playing against West Indies. So it's a good opportunity for you to prove your talent, to prove your temperament, and make sure that you are always pushing the selectors for all the right reasons.
Very well. Joyda, do we have you? Hello, Joyda.
Yeah, I'm
Can
here.
you hear us?
I'm here, darling.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
here. I'm
okay,
here.
okay. Okay, the update comes that West Indies skipper Nicholas Pooran has won the toss and elected to bowl first in this first ODI against India. The game taking place at Queen's Park Oval. Joyda, your thoughts? What about this decision made by West Indies?
You must be, Damina. You must be having the teams. Can you tell us the teams, because that'll be an interesting one to talk.
By all means, I'll just give you the teams, and the teams go as
Do you
follows.
have the teams on you?
Yes, yes, I have the teams with me. I'll read out first Team
Hmm.
India, if I'm audible to both gentlemen. The team goes Shikhar Dhawan, captain,
Yes, yes.
Shubman Gill, Shubman Gill, Shreyas Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav, Sanju Samson, wicketkeeper, Deepak Huda, Akshar Patel, Shardul Thakur, Yuzvendra Chahal, Mohammad Siraj, and Prasidh Krishna. That's for Team India. So, Joyda, if you could just begin with your thoughts on, how West Indies. What do you make of this decision by West Indies? Because we are yet to get an update on West Indies' playing 11.
Yeah, it just goes to show what sort of pitch they're playing on. Maybe there's a bit of juice in it. I can understand. There is probably a little bit of grass in it. So it's very difficult unless you have a look at the pitch. And sometimes even till a couple of balls have been bowled, you never know how a pitch is going to react. So just from reading the fact that they won the toss and elected to field, maybe there is a bit of juice. Maybe there is a bit of moisture in the air. Maybe there is a bit of sweating under the covers. I don't know what it is. We'll get to know once we see the pitch. That's the reason why You will see these players and coaches. They go in the morning. They look at the pitch. They're down on their knees. They're feeling it. They're knocking on it. They're putting their palm on it. They want to feel. Does it feel warm? Does it feel cold? Does it feel wet? Does it feel moist? Does it feel damp? So this is the reasons why people do that. So unless you do that, it's not possible. But I would think that that could be one of the reasons. One of the reasons could be that because West Indies haven't played well, they want a target in mind. They want a target that they know how much to chase, because sometimes against such strong teams like India, you don't know how much is too much, how much is enough. And you want to go to 330 and end up getting 250, whereas 270 could be enough. So let's bowl first. The West Indies bowling has been better in the last 6 months, even in one day cricket. It's their batting that has faltered. So
Yes.
let the bowlers do the job and let the batters then try and get the runs.
Absolutely. And Nishant, before we get an update on West Indies is playing 11, I believe they are yet to give us an update. So if you have got a helm of the playing 11 of Team India, as I just read it out, how do you make of it? How do you make of this
Yeah.
team, chosen by India today?
I think India has done well with persisting with Rituraj Gaikwad, Deepak Huda, who did well against Ireland. Someone like Shreyas Iyer, knowing that Hardik Pandya, sorry, knowing that Shubman Gill is also in the side. And coming back to Dada's point, it has been raining in Port of Spain for last 2 days. I was speaking to one of my friends who is covering the series. It has rained every day over there. So maybe that is the reason. And Port of Spain wicket always have some
That's the
moisture
reason.
to
That's
start
the
with.
reason. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a
See, when
like
it
we should
rains,
not
Nishant,
forget that it's a rare occasion. We have in West Indies. We are playing a day game there, so the match starts
true.
at
And also with the day game, how late do you
Yes.
take the
there.
covers off?
Yeah,
What's
so
also important,
so
Nishant, is
that is the
how late
reason.
do you take the covers off?
It's rare that you have, yeah. So looking at all of that, I think I would be obviously in the wicket, and I would be very keenly following the performances of Indian openers because they will be tested on this wicket, which will be little damp. The ball will not exactly on a Port of Spain wicket. Traditionally, the ball doesn't come on the bat very well. It stops a bit and then comes,
Yes.
especially in the first 10-15 overs. So that would be the challenge for India. And I think if Indian openers survive and give India a good platform, then India will be in a very good position because they have a very
Yes.
deep batting lineup which can put a lot of pressure on the West Indies.
We all do hope that India play well in this match. And we finally have an update of West Indies is playing 11, and I will read it out. Here it goes. We have Shea Hope, Brandon King, Sharma Brooks, Nicholas Pooden captain, Rovmal Powell, Kyle Mayers, Romario Shepherd, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Gudakesh Moti, and Jaden Seals. So, Joyda, what do you make of this playing 11 chosen by West Indies to field today's first ODI? Joyda, do we have you? I believe he's facing network issues. So, Nishant, did you catch the playing 11 I just read out of West Indies? And if yes, then
Yes,
can
yes,
we please have you give us your
yes.
thoughts?
I think West Indies, the bigger challenge for them is to get their one-day form back, as Joyda was mentioning earlier in the show, that they have themselves admitted that their T20, they have an idea how to play 2020 cricket, and they have a very reasonably, I would not say a very solid test team, but they have a reasonably good test team now. So this is a format which they are not putting a lot of, they are not putting a lot of thought behind it. So maybe this is the time because next year the 2023 World Cup is. So most of the teams, like if you see carefully, last year we had a 2020 World Cup,
Yes.
this year we have a 2020 World Cup. Now is the time teams will start building up for the one day World Cup, which is like a big World Cup. So for West Indies, it will be a,
Yes.
it will be a start to look at those combinations and figure out how they want to play. Because if you look at the 2019 World Cup team of West Indies, it had likes of Chris Gayle, Andre Russell, Kieran Pollard, all these giants were there, and now they are not there.
Yes.
So somewhere they have to find their players. So it's a good opportunity for Nicholas Puran to lead, to marshal his resources and give some tough time to India.
Very well. And now I unfortunately Joyada is yet to join us back. He's facing network issues. I have this question. Even like from my parents as well. They belonging to an earlier generation. I and it's my bad luck that I can never experience it, that I have just heard that West Indies of the 70s and the 80s were brutal. They weren't just lethal, they were brutal. And I can just watch the movie 83 and just get a slight glimpse of, yes, probably this is how the West Indies team was.
If you,
Now
if you,
I Nishant, I'll just sum up my question and then you answer me. But gradually, where did that West Indies fear go? Like until even 2012, we had West Indies winning the T20 World Cup, and then 2016 again, West Indies won. But after that, what has happened to this West Indies team? Why are they struggling so much? And I literally want Joyada and Nishant, both of you, to answer this for me.
uh,
Joyada, if we
first
have
of
you
all,
back with us. Yeah,
first of
first
all,
Nishant.
first of all, if you really want to see the dominance of West Indies, you should see the documentary Fire in Babylon. That's the documentary I will highly recommend. See that,
Absolutely.
and
Would love to.
you will understand what's West Indies. And there has been a combination of reasons. Like, look, you have to understand. Unlike other countries, it's a very unique thing that Jamaica in Olympics plays as a separate country. Trinidad plays as a separate country. Cricket is the
Yes.
only thing that unites them. And also over
Yes.
the years, because they are close to North America, the other sports have taken over. Basketball,
Yes.
soccer, athletics, all these sports have taken over. And West Indies have fallen behind in terms of, giving that constant talent. I personally feel that at one point in, around 2010, 2011, West Indies was really struggling. It is that the 2020 format has really revived their cricket. And they had some really good cricketers. Darren Sami has won two T20 World Cups for them as a captain.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
so after that, you also have to see that this is their transition phase. It is not, you cannot replace greatness overnight. You cannot replace Chris Gayle overnight. You cannot replace Karen Pollard overnight, Devine Bravo overnight. You know, it takes minimum 5 years to be an overnight success. So we have to give that time. Look at Sri Lanka now. Look at the Sri Lanka of last 2 years. They were nowhere, and now suddenly they are like competing. They are giving tough challenge to all the teams in the world.
Yes.
So it just
Yes.
proves the transition of generation always takes time. So we need to give them some time on that front. So I think that is one of the reasons, and we need to be a little patient with the West Indies side. They still have a lot of talent, and I think they will always be a very formidable side in 2020 because they love that format. They really it is right up in their alley. It's like one of those formats. Go play fearless cricket, play carefree cricket, and that's what they are inherently. Like that's how West Indian culture is. They are like they are people who enjoy their life, and 2020 is all about enjoying yourself. I'm sure if we give them some time, they will be back to their competitive best.
Very true. Joyda, did you hear the question? And if
I
yes,
did.
then
I
can
did.
we have your version of this?
I did. Just on the last question on the intel that Nishant gave us, see what happens with the covers is that when you have rain and then you can only take the covers out in a day game only an hour before the game. So that doesn't give you much chance for the pitch to dry up under normal sun. Now, if this game was an afternoon game, they would take up the covers at the same time in the morning and it'll get 4 hours of pelting sun on it. But right now it's getting about half an hour, 40 minutes of sun on it. So that's a bit of moisture left. I got cut off there, so that's the one I wanted to contribute. Coming back to this one, I think Nishant has hit the nail on the head. I had the good fortune of playing a couple of rounds of golf with Viv Richards, and I asked him what has changed in West Indies. He said
Wow.
the best talents are not coming to cricket anymore. They want to go to America. They want to play basketball, football. There's more wealth over there. He said, interestingly, he also said that when he played the West Indies, they hardly had any money, but they were gods. They could walk into they would walk into to do their groceries. Nobody would take money from them. They would walk into shops to buy clothes. Nobody would take money from them. They would walk into movie halls. They would take no money from them because they were gods. But now this generation don't want to be treated as gods. They want wealth, and they want nice classy cars. They want a 5 bedroom house, and that's what a trip to America gets you. So the best talent is not coming anymore. And also, like Nishant rightly pointed out, all of these islands have their issues of their own. So that also shows in. But in spite of that, if you look at the talent that they have, I mean, today if there's a T20 World 11 we make, there'll be 4 or 5 from the West Indies. Can you make a
Yes.
T20 World 11 without a Dwayne Bravo, without a Karim Pollard, without a Sunil Narayan, without a you cannot without a Andre Russell, you cannot. Just goes to show. But in spite of that, they that's been Phil Simmons's biggest challenge. He's a super coach, they call him. He's coached some really good teams, some small teams in name, and taken them to greater heights. But he's struggling with West Indies, and they've given him a long rope because they feel he is the one. Because he's coached teams like Afghanistan and the second tier teams, they feel he's the one who can bring it to it. He's also one of their own boys, so he understands the problems. He's a part of West Indies team for a long time. He's played for West Indies in the golden era. He knew what the that gig was like, and he's the one. They gave him a longer rope, so not too many coaches would have survived losing to Pakistan, losing to Bangladesh, but they've given him that time because they realize that this is not something that can be fixed overnight. They need some time, and he's probably the right guy to do it. They rate him highly as a coach. I've spoken to some players who've been coached under him, and although he's not a big name, he's a super coach. So that's the reason why. But they say that they've got the 2020 batting cricket uh, in place, and they have their test match in place. This is the one, and that's the captain saying that we haven't found our mojo yet. We're looking for it. And like Nishant said, it's a new team for both teams. A lot of new players in the West Indies team also, and they'll find their mojo. If and when is only the question. They will. Great examples by Nishant saying Sri Lanka have turned around. When you lose players, like you rightly said, it'll take some time. And the bigger the country, the easier it is to find. So it was easy to find a Virat Kohli after Tendulkar went, but we are a country of 1.3 billion. West Indies isn't. It's the number one sport here for cricket. West Indies cricket isn't. They have, look at the athletics team, look at the world championships, look at the football team. We are only in cricket. We've got barely any of our athletes in the world championship. We've got barely any of our athletes. We are not in the World Cup football, but they're in football. They're in every sport. So
Usain
they're
Bolt, Jamaica will individually have more individual medals in athletics than India.
So all
Yeah.
I'm saying here is that because they don't have as much of surplus as we do to provide the players. You know, for in India it's all cricket, cricket, cricket. So we keep producing players. We have more players. If these 15 couldn't play, we got another 50. We got another 50. But it's not the same for every country, and we must understand that.
And it's really strange because I've just heard legends that the 70s, 80s West Indies were brutal. Unfortunately, I can just watch highlights and understand and perhaps get
Just
some
follow,
idea.
just follow what Nishant said. Just
Us.
follow what Nishant said.
And to all our viewers as well, the documentary which Nishant just recommended, just go and watch it. And as we are moments away from the game to begin, let's have matchups and your player of the match. First Joyda, then Nishant.
No, first Nishant, because I went first and I stole his name. So first Nishant today.
Nishant, come
My
on, first ball, first ball.
my matchup today is Indian spinners, because I have always traditionally seen Port of Spain wicket offering some help to spinners. It's a wicket where the ball actually doesn't come onto the bat all the time,
Mhm.
and so I feel it will be, and there will be no due factor because it's a day game. So it
Yeah.
is my pick is Yuji Chahal, Akshar Patel versus West Indies batting lineup, which is relatively inexperienced, and Yuji Chahal is in top form.
Very well. So your player of the match and matchups, was this all from you?
Yes, it sums up everything.
Okay. Okay. Enjoy that.
Yeah, I think it's the bowling unit of India versus their batting, and I also put the fast bowlers in the fray because I think Siraj and Prasidh and everybody will also hold their own. The West Indies batting has been a bit of an issue because they sometimes play too aggressively, sometimes they play too slowly. See if they find their right rhythm, it'll be an interesting one. And I have so I think the bowling Indian bowling unit versus the West Indian batters is my matchup. And for the two batters who I think will shine, I'm going to put two names, Shikhar and Surya.
Indeed. And we do hope again Joyda gets that bang on prediction like he did in that final match against England. And this was the pre show. I was absolutely enthralled and thrilled once again to be bombarded with such lovely insights from these two extremely learned and experienced gentlemen, Joydeep Mukherjee and Nishant Jeet Arora. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining. And enjoy a good game of cricket. Take care of yourselves. Let's hope
Thank
that
you.
instead of stating which team wins, let's enjoy and hope both these teams produce good and quality amounts of cricket. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.